we're back doing our watch series, and what we've got with us today is a JLC, and again, proud sponsors of ArchieLuxury. So knowing that everybody's into luxury, we know they probably love their watches as much as I love this Buick 66 Riviera, which was the lap of luxury back in the day. So love tying all the luxury together. So let's have a look at this JLC. So JLC.
Yeah, JLC. So, you know, in our previous videos, we showed some Steel Sports Rolex and a Rolex two-tone. There's other luxury brands of watches, and depending on which brand you buy and which watch you buy within that brand, you can do well. A lot of the other watch brands are struggling as Rolex has gotten so popular. A classic luxury watch brand, sort of high horology, Jaeger LeCoultre. I don't know how to pronounce that properly, but
sounded good.
Sounds good. Yeah, most people just
Close
call it JLC.
Yeah.
This is sort of if you're going to buy a luxury watch of a brand that's not Rolex, you want to make sure to try and buy what you sort of call the iconic pieces, the pieces they're most known for. This watch is called a Reverso, a JLC Reverso. This watch is special for a couple of reasons. It's also a GMT watch, although you can't see the third hand because it's right under my hour hand, but it also has a day-night indicator on the bottom there, so as it gets further along in the afternoon, it's going to become more and more blue. So this is a JLC Reverso Grande GMT with day-night indicator. These watches are called Reversos because the watch itself actually reverses. Sometimes when they reverse the watch, you can see the movement inside. On this particular watch, it's just a steel case. Apparently they did this back in the day so that you wouldn't scratch the face of your watch while you're doing some activity that rich people would do, like play polo or
classic car.
They probably weren't wearing their Reverso.
I don't
when
think
they were
I'd
wrenching.
wear that.
They might have been wearing their Reverso when they cut the checks to pay the people that were wrenching on their cars for them, but they probably didn't wrench on their own cars, the people that would buy a JLC back in the day. These watches, the JLC Reverso, you can get them at a pretty good discount to retail on the secondary market. If somebody was interested in buying a watch like this, I would strongly advise them to not buy new. The brand is struggling a little bit. I love it. I love the watch, and I bought it because I love it. This watch has a cool band, so the leather strap never gets worn because you just sort of once you have it sized, it just claps on like that, and so you never pulling the leather in and
stretch it out.
Right, you're just popping it off like that.
I love that.
It's a pretty cool watch, classic, iconic version of the JLC. Same thing with the Rolex GMTs that we talked about in a previous video. This one now is not waterproof at all, and you can tell that because it doesn't have a screw down crown. So if you just wind it while you're wearing it, it winds. You don't have to unscrew the crown and have it pop out like you do on a Rolex. But if you pull this out once and then you switch the hours, there's that GMT hand under it that stays in your local time. And then you can tell at the bottom that day-night indicator stays with the GMT function. So this is how you switch the hours as you fly, travel, drive to different time zones. But unlike a Rolex, this is not waterproof. You have to be careful. This is sort of what's known as a dress watch. It's not a sports watch. It's a watch you would wear for a formal event if you're wearing a suit back in the day. Now all these rules have changed, like everything else. You can wear a sports Rolex under a suit. You can wear a sports Rolex with a tuxedo, and people don't look at you funny. They would in the past. They don't anymore. But this is a gorgeous version. I got it used. And also, I bought it without box and paper. If you don't have box and paper, you get even a better deal on it. And I find that if you're going to buy a non-Rolex used watch, it's okay to not have the box and papers because you get it at an even lower price. And for these watches, you're buying them because they're beautiful and you love them, not necessarily as a great investment.
So what year would you say this watch
It's
is?
about 10 years old.
Okay.
Like I say, I forget the exact year. I didn't bring the paperwork with me when I bought it, but I bought it used.
Those lines
Yeah.
kind of remind me of old jukeboxes. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it looks like it could fit in the 30s or 40s
Yeah.
or 50s or 60s.
They've been making them for that long for sure. It's a very classic watch, very comfortable on the wrist. Everyone knows that the square watch basically is a JLC. And it's considered a great brand. They make great movements. The big differentiator in luxury brands like a Rolex or a JLC or a Patek Philippe is that they make their own movements. So the thing that actually powers the watch is all made in-house. Whereas some of the lesser brands use commodity movements that are made by, like ETA, which is a company that provides their own movements to a lot of brands. And so in watch collecting, the thing you want to do is you always want to buy a watch that has an in-house movement. And JLC is one of the premier makers of watch movements in the world, and it's legendary for doing that. But the brand is struggling, there's no question about it. In the steel sports Rolex craze, watches like this, dress watches from, boutique brands like JLC are struggling in the secondary market. I love this watch. I bought it because I love it. I think it's a gorgeous example of the iconic version. If you're going to buy a GLC, I would avoid buying anything other than a Reverso and buy it used.
Beautiful.
Good.
All right, a day. Wow.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
this is a classic Rolex power watch. The Rolex Day Date. It's commonly known as the President. They call it the President because Rolex used to